What up, y'all? So I've been away for a while. I've been away for a while. Doing SableCon, doing some other stuff coming up. But I wanted to talk about representation in comics and stuff. I always talk about this because this is one of the things that being a black creator and in creating in the manga and anime space is something that I'm always watching and feel like could be done better from a lot of basically black creators and stuff. So we're gonna talk about representation and creativity. Because the thing about it is like a lot of it, it walks when it comes to black creators, it walks a fine line of creativity, inspiration, and disrespect. And so my reason for coming up with this, there's been a lot. Like I've seen people on Twitter talking about it, and then people on Facebook talk about um black artists basically reskinning Japanese characters with black skin. And it's been the most recent one was um dude and homegirl from Dan to Dan, the two characters from Dan to Dan. They put the dude with the afro and some other stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. But we do that with a lot of stuff. It could be X-Men characters, it can be Dragon Ball, it can be Looney Tunes characters, all these things, right? And my issue is that it never turns into originality. It never turns into, hey, we're doing this particular new thing that we're trying to make happen and stuff. And you'll get a bunch of excuses from it. It's always that, especially when it comes to things that concern black folks. It's always going to be some kind of excuse. So I had made a post about it, and I was talking about how, to me, uh, it's overstepping. And the reason why I say that is because in what was it? I was wrong. I made so on my post. I want to be clear. So on my post, I was wrong, and I put the 1700s in Japan. I was wrong. I was wrong. I believe it was the 1860s. So I'm gonna look at my little notes and stuff too. So yeah. So there was in the 1860s, there was a British dude named Charles Workman. He came with he was an artist, a caricature artist and everything, and he came through Japan. And I from what I'm understanding, he stayed in Japan and he would do caricatures in a magazine, a monthly magazine called Japan Punch, and he would do caricatures and little stories about living amongst the Japanese people. And some of the people didn't like it, like the government and other people didn't like it. Now, artists, well, before I get in that, they didn't like some of the caricatures because he would have the Japanese people. They would say you'll read information about him, or you'll go look him up, and you'll see like, well, he would draw overzealous people, and nobody really had. But the truth of the matter is, when I talk to other people and you do more research, the government and stuff did have an issue with him talking about government issues because it was already a tumultuous relationship because English were coming into Japan and they're like, look, you guys can stay over here. Don't come over here and do too much. And people like him started to do too much. You can't be making caricatures of these people and making them look crazy and stuff and acting like you some type of savior. And so it was something that 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 really caused more and more issues amongst the people. Not to where everybody was dying and stuff, but it did to the point where it did cause enough issues to where a lot of the Japanese would look at the style in which he was doing with Japan Punch and they started countering it with their own work. So they would even pick up some of the style. They were like, okay, he does this. Okay, we're gonna pick up some of this and we're gonna add um some of his caricatures and stuff to our characters. We're gonna uh add it was another guy named Bigot, Bigot, Bigot. It might be Bigot. I excuse my southern drawl, but it might be Bigot. And he was doing like letter boxes and bubbles and stuff like that. So the Japanese picked up on it and they started doing it and picking up and adding it and influencing it. Well, not influencing it, turning it into their own style, and they turned it into something unique, which ultimately became how they started doing different mangas and stuff with their styles and picking up on some of the European styles. And to me, that's what you do because you take something and then you turn it into something that can be a vehicle for for your views, your vision, your stories. And that's where I believe a lot of it is lacking with. I want to make sure that I don't go over my other stuff. Let me see. And so you don't just become stagnant because I'm using that also I'm using that as an example because it's inserting yourself into another culture without genuinely understanding or respect or coming with respect. And it's like, um, that's wild to me. And I feel like th- I feel like with the black characters, they it doesn't evolve, right? Like the creators, it doesn't evolve to the point that we start creating our own industry inside of a particular industry. And that's the thing that really kind of throws me off. I'm like, yeah, you can create Black Danadan characters. I'm not telling nobody not to cosplay. I'm not saying don't don't necessarily do whatever, but it has to evolve into something else. And as we have seen for the most part, it hasn't really evolved into anything that we can really hold on to. And problem is we'll see something new and specifically like black people, like black creators and stuff, right? We'll see something new, and then if it doesn't have a thumbs up from somebody else in another culture, we'll kind of throw it away. And so I when I think about it and I watch it, I'm like, this can't be it. This can't be it because even when I was younger, 'cause I'm older. When I was younger, you would see like shirts with like the shirts with like Looney Tunes, people dressed up like Chris Cross and SpongeBob and all that other stuff. It lead to. And so I don't think that's any different. Like you see a black Bart Simpson, but did it lead to a black Simpsons esque show from a black creator? No, it's like it didn't lead to anything. So this whole reskinning and people taking and one of the things people taking it as I'm jumping all over the place, and I have a bad habit of that. Uh, taking it and turning something into, well, it's wrong that black people just can't have fun and this and that. And for me personally, I'm not saying you got to be like this. This whole black people having fun stuff and everything, it gets kind of old after a while. Because like, when does your fun turn into legacy? When does your fun turn into something that we can all be proud of or that you can be proud? Forget us, right? Forget us. Even with me, like I create characters, whether it's from Void Beast, whether it's the Extraordinary Messiah, all of that stuff. And I've had young people cosplay as my characters. And that's a beautiful thing. That's something that I want to experience even more. And having a young lady cosplay as one of my characters, that that made my whole damn year. And to see something like that is is awesome. And that's what most creators create for is to see this creation of yours go out into the world and inspire people in ways that you couldn't have imagined. This laziness where it's a thing where I'm going to put this here and we could just have fun with this. You see a lot of that online with black folks. Everything is let's just have fun. And why can't we have fun? And why can't you just let people have fun? Let me tell you something. Don't go for that. Don't go for that. Not of any race. I don't care what race you are. Don't just go for the low hanging fruit of just having fun and it should be fine. No, 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 no. Think more of yourself. So let's just have fun leads to a bunch of silly shit. And that's just the old man in me talking. Um, and it's something that I don't adhere to. I don't go along with because if fun keeps us in a position where we don't we're not seen as real creators and we can't do anything more than reskin other characters and turn them black or whatever the case may be, it messes it leaves us in a messed up position. One of the other reasons why I said it is because when it comes to things like race swapping and when people talk about DEI stuff and everything, it's always it not always, but a lot of times it's a black face used. So when people talk about representation, and I talked to somebody about this like almost a year ago, I don't like black people being used as the face of DEI and representation, and we're gonna swap races and stuff. Because in most cases, it ends up, and it's not actors or the voice actors' fault. It's not those people's fault. What about the owners and people that switch them out? Because they know that most of the time it's going to be black folks to catch the heat for it. It's going to be the black actor that catch the heat. It's going to be the black voice actor. It's going to be them that catch the heat. Person that put it in place. And I think that's trifling. Because so when I talk about I don't like representation or I don't like it a certain way, the reason why I don't like it, not just because it was black people, but because they're being used as the scapegoats to be put out in front. So you sort of the first faces you see are black folks. Kind of like recently, what was it, Jaguar or whatever? They had their thing and it's whatever. You're supposed to be selling cars and you doing whatever, but okay, whatever, right? But the like first person you seen was a black person. It was black people. And I was like, yo, why is this just black people? Same thing with like How to Train Your Dragon. They switched it out with the little girl. She lighter skin, but she black girl. Then with the what was it? Recently we were talking about the Snape thing. Talking about how he might be a black person. It's not again, it's not the black actor's fault. I just don't like it because we get used, and then when certain things don't do well because they switched off to black people, the first thing we get told is, "Hey, we tried this, but it doesn't work, and we can't give money to that, or we can't do these sort of things because black people don't want to see that, or nobody wanted to buy or see that, even though you have Black Panther and other stuff." But it goes back to having IPs that are authentically black in nature and have an understanding of black culture. And and I'm not talking about, hey, black people is downtrodden. Hey, lives matter. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about an understanding of black culture to where you and everybody can see that, hey, I'm stepping into this new world and this is going to be interesting. Or I'm going to take this ride with this character and we're going to see something different. So for instance, like with the Japanese stuff, there's nothing wrong with liking Japanese characters. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, to reskin them to black, that's easy. That's a lack of creativity. Heck, I've recently started drawing within a year, and I could do that. But it takes creativity to make a character, a black character in the world and tell a story. And we have to tell stories. As black folks, we got a bunch of stories to tell, not the same usual mess that we got. It's interesting seeing a black character just from space that has nothing to do with any of the stuff that's going on. The usual slave. I'm messed up. They don't want to give me a loan because I'm black. Like we can tell different stories with black people being aliens, with black people going into futuristic spiritual situations, and they from New York, Detroit, South Carolina, and stuff like that. And these stories are out here. So when we take these black when we take these anime characters and make them black, and then that's the thing that we're consistently sharing, and everybody's like, "Ooh, I want that," or "I want this character to be turned black so that I can be a part of that." We're constantly looking to other people to represent us, or we just reskin something instead of creating something new. It takes away from that creativity, and it lets everybody else know that we shouldn't put money into anything you do either. Because the truth of the matter is, when it comes, black people say they all want stories with black vampires and this and that, but you don't do anything about that. You don't pump those stories, and the creators that make those type of stories, you just take it and put it off you put it off somewhere until somebody else represent it, and then what you do is you show the stuff with the other characters in black skin. So why do I have to give you anything else? I can just keep giving you this. On top of that, Since you're not supporting not the books or even some of the lower or lesser known TV shows, you're not supporting that. The stuff that do get supported is the stuff that get pushed because you can go in plenty of, and I don't have an issue with this. Again, this is I don't really have an issue with it because I'll talk about it later. There's other things that I'm thinking about doing and stuff myself. And you'll see that you can go in groups and you can watch like uh what people are watching. And a lot of like the Tubi groups and stuff like that, they're watching the so-called stuff that people in the black community on the comic side say they don't like. There's a lot of people watching and they're talking about the stories. They're giving them grace. They're following these stories. They overlook a lot of the issues that happen in the production of these movies and stories. All of them, and we would call it low-hanging fruit for the black community and black production in movies and stuff. We would call it that. Whether it's a show, a movie, a play, any of that. Like you can talk about the Tyler Perry's and stuff, but the people that he's going towards and the people that he makes the stuff for, they share it. Average black people share the Tyler Perry movies, the Tubi movies and stuff and everything. I'm not kidding. Go watch it. You can go see in any Tubi group how many comments are talked about, and it's not a bunch of ignorant stuff. Well, it's a bunch of people saying they like the stories or it was good or it was whatever, and they just leave it alone. And groups, it's not that. And manga and anime groups and stuff, it's not that. It's that we want these other people to represent us. We want these other people to tell our story. We want to make these characters black. Let us turn these characters black. And I think we lose out on a lot of the journey build up like the Japanese have gone through with other people coming into their culture telling them, hey, you gotta live like this, or we're gonna make these type of caricatures and turning it into something that's beneficial for their culture, something that they can identify with, and then it ends up touching the world and bringing jobs and other cultural references and cultural importance to Japan. And black people can do the same thing. We can I think that if we're not, I seen somebody made a post about, well, he talking about all this and that. He can go somewhere with all of that. Talking about some, they done took culture from us and this and that. And that's fine. That's all well and good. But also a lot of them, they don't lie. They don't be like, no, I don't. They'll tell you the truth. They'll come and work with whether it's K-pop groups, whether it's Japanese singers. They'll come and work with black folks, and they'll tell you that they're working with black folks. They're gonna reskin it. And they're like, no, they come and work with. And I think that's the thing where I'm not saying you got to bow down to or anything, but I think that when you're focusing on and just being like, let us have fun instead of creating and having that mutual respect between you and the other cultures, I think you lose out on a lot. And you could be creating stories and then reaching out, and then people from Japan, China, and other stuff will reach out to you, and y'all can make something even more impactful. Because it's, for instance, like there's no reason why we wouldn't have a story like a Dan with original black characters. There's no reason. There's no reason. With what was I talking about? Oh, my dentist texted me. There's no reason why you can't have those stories. Like I was playing Black Myth Wukong, right? And you look at all of those Black Americans and some other folks don't have that type of background, and they don't dang sure ain't got a story specifically like that with their own gods telling these fantastical stories and seeing it visually. Like a lot of that isn't going on, led by Black people. Not that, and again, this isn't not working with other people. This isn't not working with white people, not working with Japanese people, not working with other people. We come together and we make a thing, but and we respect each other and stuff, and we get that story out. But if you're not working towards that and you're fine with palette swapping, I was like, let me not be too foul. If you're fine with palette swapping black folks, then you're not going to work towards that. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard and it's going to take a long time. So I mean, I think that a lot of it comes down to black people lacking self-esteem when it comes to a lot of these things. Because in a lot of these groups, when we talk to them and we tell them, hey, you should have self-esteem enough to work and put the work in to make black projects this successful. And it's not a one person thing. It's not just hey, the creator put it out there. It's a thing where fans are going to have to lift it up and take it over the finish line and stuff too. Because if you're not sharing that, but you're sharing palette swapped woman from American Dad or Danadan characters, there's no reason to give you anything to represent you. So now you're trying to barge into somebody else's culture and you're trying to hit them over the head and tell them they should represent you. Like you'll hear people say, well, I would like to see more black people represented in anime and manga. You can't make Japanese people overseas you can't make them represent you in manga and stuff. You can't. You can't do it because they don't have the understanding. But if you just want a dark character, I mean they could do that. It's not going to have no real cultural relevance, and it's not going to be beneficial for you and black folks to understand that we should be seen in the entertainment business a particular way. Because we keep expecting everybody else to do it, and when they don't do it, we whine and cry about it. Another thing, before I get out of here, one of the uh one of I recently saw um I recently read the manga Drama Queen. And the gist of it is this young girl had an issue with these aliens that supposedly saved the planet. They in Japan. Now the aliens live on Earth and they're causing issues. Like they kind of lording over the humans and she doesn't like it. And she has beef with it. She meets a coworker. Well, leave a coworker or they're buddies. I don't fully remember. She meets a guy. Oh no, she meets a guy on the beach, and they were kind of talking about aliens. Then they started hating together, which is understandable. I too am sort of a hater myself. So we started hating together. And I've seen a lot of stuff where people were like, "This is wrong. This is like xenophobia and this and that." And again, for me, it's almost like that is going back to the 1862 thing. Like what currently is black folks kind of pushing in and trying to make their stuff like Worgman and Bigot, where they're putting in and inserting themselves into Japanese history and or into Japanese culture into stuff without well, at least they kind of made something of their own. But black folks like making a thing of their own. Not there. Now there are some. What I'm talking about with Drama Queen is like the counteracting to what Worgman them did is to create their own and to say, "Hey, we're gonna represent and do our own stuff so that we can have our own thing." And they also started talking about in those early mangas and stuff, even to now, they would talk about how other cultures would come in, how Europeans would come in and disrespect their culture or do certain things, and not and everything wasn't outright bad, but whether it was them talking about the war between China um, all that, all these different sort of cultural issues they would talk about in manga. And I feel like Drama Queen is something that's quite close to that because it's literally them saying, "Hey, this is what's going on. These people came in, they're treating us a certain way. They're elbowing folks in the head. They bump into us. They act like they didn't do it. They treat us crazy at work, and this is what we're seeing." And I feel like that's kind of something akin to what the Japanese would have been doing a whole time, whether it was with what was it the one with the woman Sazai-san? Even she was talking about different things that was going on in the culture of Japan and stuff. So again, mm, um, I'm using the Japanese to kind of compare to what Black folks should be doing. So to me, where we should step in at is like, hey, we see this thing. We see that they don't have a full understanding. Some of it is just not understanding. Some of it is outright racism because we've seen it, right? But whatever it is, take what you're doing, and if you can create these palette swapped black characters, take it and start putting that energy into creating something new. It's gonna take a while. It's gonna take time. Japan done used it. What I'm talking about is from the 1860s. It's 2024 now. They done turned it into something. But that's what we have to do too. It can't be this thing where we're asking everybody else to do it. It can't be this thing or we're talking about, well, they did this, so we're gonna do this. This little petty back and forth instead of putting your foot down to really make some stuff happen. And there's a bunch of black creators out there doing it. Me being one of them, Nicholas Draper Ivy being one of them, Seji Bot is one of them, um, TJ Sterling is one of them, uh, Greg Burnham is one of them. What is it? The young I forgot his name. The young wavy guy was one of them. Michael Madlock is one of them. A guy named um, Prince Pandora. He's one of them. I can keep naming. I can keep naming. And the thing about it is, just like, and why I use the whole Tyler Perry Tubi movie stuff is because a lot of that stuff is crazy. A lot of it is not the best, right? Like the stories ain't the best and everything. But they support it. And the black comics and manga people are going to have to do the same. You're going to have to support and watch this stuff and help it get to these next levels, or else you're just going to keep palette swapping other characters and complaining about how it's not good because it's a two-way street. You can say, "Hey, I'm not going to support it if it's not good," and I know you hear that. But if it's somebody new and they put it out, okay, voice your opinion to them. See if they can go through the fire of understanding what it is, and watch them continue to get better, and we support that way because that's how we keep getting all this uh ignorant black content because people keep putting it out and people watch it, and then they be like, well, I hope this person do a better movie or hope this person do something else. Can be complete and utter trash. Tried to watch the Tubi movies. It's horrible. It's like it physically makes me mad. And I'm gonna say this: too much nigga shit it makes me angry. Like it gives me nightmares. I can watch horror movies all day. I can watch 5 in a row. Sitting down, get up, go to the bathroom, eat, have some free time, doing some writing in between, doing some drawing while I'm watching. I can watch 5 horror movies, get inspired, start thinking about what to write and everything. I watch half of any kind of like purposely black content and it frustrates me. Black folks is pimps, strippers, drug dealers, all this other stuff. It's a family of black people doing well. Oh, they're actually drug dealers, and all of them trifling, and it bothers me to no end. Or we in a bad situation, and we hope somebody else will come and help us. It's frustrating, right? So, so I'm just like I can't really get with it, and it's something that I don't fully get down with, and 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 so I don't like it, right? I just don't like it. Like it bothers me and it gives me nightmares. I start thinking I have dreams of ignorant nigga shit. And so um I believe we can do it. It's just who's gonna have to we just gonna have to put our heads down and really work at it. And the fans are gonna have to support it and get through it too. You watch the people that support Tyler Perry movies and all this other stuff, and you wonder how they do it. Is because Tyler Perry has a built-in base that consistently comes and supports it. A lot of these Tubi movies and stuff from these directors, they care about what they're doing, but then they also have a base that's going to continue doing it. So those people that want to see those type of stories, they can get that from those people. They know that they're going to keep getting those movies and shows and stuff from these people. And they know that these people are going to keep showing up to financially help it. And even if it's not financial, it could be free. They're going to share it. They're going to talk about it. It's the same thing that black creators need to do with anime and manga. The problem is that y'all want everybody else to represent the culture. And because of the world that we were in with comics, anime, and manga and stuff, if somebody else is not highlighting that culture, you feel like it's not beneficial. It's better for them, it's better to just be seen than to actually own and have something that can live on that's going to touch people forever. Again, having one young person cosplay as one of my characters. Like I always think about it, and it happened at Halloween. I didn't know the people; they just got up with me and they were like, "Yo, my daughter like TJ from Void Beast, and she wanted to cosplay as him." And I'm still like, "What?" so so it's still a beautiful thing to me, and I think we need more of that. And this whole thing where we certain creators, okay, so that's more of a creative. But people that are fans and reading, you're gonna have to really hold up your end of the bargain. you're gonna have to hold up your end and understand that if this person is doing better and they're creating, and then you see them making small improvements, because the improvements may just be small. If you see it, support those folks. Share their stuff, talk about it, all of that stuff. But this whole where if you have a choice between black Dan character and original character, and you pick that all the time, don't complain. Don't go to cons complaining about or complaining to interviews about how you'd like to see more black representation. You have the chance to get more black representation. It's out there. Go share it. Go be the megaphone to what's going on, and make it happen. Now, are you gonna like all of it? No. Find something you like, and this you can find something that you could um work with, and watch them grow, and tell them where the issues are. Tell them what you would like to see them improve on the stuff. If they start talking crazy, throw them to the wayside. If they continuously do terrible stuff, as far as creating, I don't really care about other stuff unless they killing or raping somebody. That I'll leave that to their business. If that all that other stuff, I'll leave that to them. Um, uh, if they're doing the small things, support it. If not, let them go. I'm not telling you to keep supporting if you don't like it, but I will say this: you support Japanese folks, and why you complaining about not seeing black representation? You support them, and you're not getting what you want. You support these fast food restaurants and all this other stuff, and you're not getting exactly what you want. You understand it until it comes to black people. So it takes us to have self esteem in ourselves, understand that we have to go through those trials and tribulations to build up what we want to see, and to give it a strong foundation to see what we want to see. So have some self esteem about yourself, black folks. Put the work in and support those folks that are doing the things that you want to see. Not trying to make another culture do what you want them to do. Not trying to make them represent you when they can't represent you correctly, and all you doing is crying on the sideline, and just keep crying about what they do, to the point where they're like, well, we're just not gonna have you in there. And now you mad and you calling it racist again. It is what it is. So if you want to see all that, I think we should work on it. And even with that, I'll be having here in Milwaukee another speaking of work, so real quick, speaking of working on stuff, and doing your own thing out here in Milwaukee, I'll be having a anime and manga art exhibition, and it'll be January 11th and 25th out here in Milwaukee. So might be some black characters. I might draw some stuff, but then I'll talk about some stuff that I'm working on, my journey about art, and then I want some other people to come through and talk about it and stuff too. So again, create your own, support people that are doing the things that you want to see. That's how you keep it going, and you encourage them to keep going. Go to the website, sign up for our emails, get some free books and everything, and check us out here in Milwaukee with our anime exhibition. I'll hopefully be putting up some more. Well, not hopefully, I'll be putting up some more stuff and everything so we can get everything rolling. And I will holler at y'all later. Peace.